He is the leading candidate for the Republican presidential nomination. Everything he says strikes a nerve. But is Donald Trump merely keeping a negative sideshow alive when he goes after people like the Pope? And are his followers ready to hear a noted columnist call him a coward? In South Carolina, the answer is obvious for the moment. Predictions indicate Trump will own that state tomorrow night. But there is the matter of second place and what that will mean for others heading into Nevada. What exactly does the GOP stand for? When they talk about the future, are they really saying anything of substance? Or are they failing to actually grab voters with substance and in the end killing their chances of winning in November? And we hand out 15 seconds of fame to one of our valiant followers on social media, leading to a few words with the quietest, most unassuming candidate on the trail today. Laugh, cry, kiss your cares goodbye. I'm Ed Berliner. This is the Hardline for Friday, February 19th, 2016.
The wall. We're building the wall. We're building the wall, folks. We're building the wall. And we're going to have people come into our country, but they're going to come into our country legally. They're not going to come in like they are now. They walk across a piece of Swiss cheese. They're going to come into our country legally. They're coming in. And it's fine. And they're going to be good people, and they're going to come in legally.
24 hours or so from now, we will very likely hear that Donald Trump has captured South Carolina, that his steamroller continues plowing over everyone and everything heading for Nevada. And we will be bombarded again with comments from those who say he's like death, taxes, and bad ideas from Hollywood, like a sequel to Mary Poppins. All inevitable. But with every win, as it should be with any candidate, the veneer cracks just a touch. And those who have made their living covering politics look at the Donald and see something much less than a leader, understanding their words will strike another firestorm from those in America who believe all the media wants is to knock down their chosen one. It is going to get a little bit rocky. Let's begin. She is the veteran conservative reporter and blogger, ready every day in the pages of the Washington Post at the Right Turn blog, Jennifer Rubin. Joined by the senior project manager at Hathaway Strategies and author of The War on Millennials, Pete Seat. I want to thank you both for joining us. And as I said, here we go down and dirty. And Jennifer, we're going to start right with you. Your column in the Washington Post. There's the headline. Behind all the antics, Donald Trump is a coward. You know as well as I do, there are Trumpers out there who are going to assail you for this and basically say, you're just another member of the media who hates Donald Trump because he speaks the truth.
Well, here in reality land, Donald Trump is leading in South Carolina, but his numbers have been going down in the polls, actually, if you believe them. And I'm not sure I do, frankly, at this point. He's now tending to be in the high 20s. I think for second place, and we may have a smaller gap than many people expect, I see Marco Rubio coming on very strongly. I think Ted Cruz has not reacted well over the past few days to the barrage of attacks, both from Rubio and from Trump. And I think he's holding his own, but not moving ahead. I think what is clear, however, is that Jeb Bush is far back in single digits, and I suspect will end his campaign in South Carolina.
Here comes that great question, though. Donald Trump, one of the things he said is that the president of the United States, George Bush, knew there were no WMDs. Yet, as you point out in the column, he said on ABC's Good Morning America, I don't know if he lied or not. I just know there are no weapons of mass destruction. You call that nothing more than just a trend. It's always what he does. Okay, I'll play devil's advocate here for just a moment. Maybe he forgot and maybe he misspoke, because you know that people are going to say that.
Donald Trump at the town hall last night admitted that he doesn't have any evidence and that he would have to look at documents, whatever the heck that means. There is no evidence. There was a 600-page report done by Judge Silberman that George Bush did not have an indication that 9/11 was coming, and did not have, and later on knew that he did not have knowledge that there were no weapons of mass destruction. This is Donald Trump. He's a liar. He's a braggart. And ultimately, when he's caught on these things, whether it's something big like this or something little like insulting Carly Fiorina's face, he backs down because he frankly is a coward and doesn't really want to defend himself when he knows he's wrong.
All right, Pete, I'm going to give you a chance here. Donald Trump, and everybody is talking about this one little soundbite right now. Howard Stern's show on terrestrial radio, this might be pointed out. This wasn't satellite at this time. 2002. He gave an answer that seemed to contradict his claim that he has always been opposed to the Iraq War. Here's what he said.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess
So, I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
Now, Pete, Donald Trump come back. Wait a minute now. I wasn't a politician at the time. He says that maybe that's supposed to let him off the hook. Does it?
Wait, Donald Trump contradicting himself? Hold the presses. This is what is happening throughout this campaign, and he always just washes it away and says it's no big deal. Oh, I've changed my mind. I think something different. I wasn't a politician, as if that is an excuse. I could not agree more with Jennifer and what she said. I feel like I should just yield my time to her. She's been very good in describing what Donald Trump truly is. And you saw it with this episode with the Pope, right? He immediately, he's very thin-skinned. He immediately shot back at the Pope and attacked him, the Pope, and then shortly thereafter backed off, begged off when he realized, I think, that it wasn't the right thing to do. But that's what Donald Trump does. He speaks first before thinking and proves that he is thin-skinned, and that's what drives him and this and his rhetoric.
But Pete, I'm going to go ahead and drive home something else here, and it's the same thing. Jennifer's answered it very well, and I got to stick with you because he still leads in the polls. Some say that maybe his margin's down to 5 points in South Carolina. NBC Wall Street Journal says maybe he's now in second place. But Pete, every time I get on social media and we say anything about Donald Trump, we read the pages. People explode. They are angry. They call you and Jennifer and me nothing but a bunch of hypocrites, and they say, this is what America wants. What are we missing, Pete?
Well, certainly his populism is appealing to people who are looking for someone who is as angry as they are. But I'm seeing the other side, too. Earlier, Ed, you said that he's this steamroller, but where was the steamroller in Iowa? When I've written about Donald Trump, I've heard from both sides of the aisle, people who are frightened that he would get the Republican nomination. The unfortunate fact, though, is not a lot of those people are in these early voting states and don't have the sway that people in New Hampshire and South Carolina have in choosing our nominee.
All right, now let's turn to somebody else here if we can for a couple of minutes. Let's talk about what makes South Carolina ever so special, and that is the attack ads, which are now growing every single day. Jennifer, this one's going to be for you first. This one from Ted Cruz. It rails on Marco Rubio on his amnesty plan that it claims sounds too familiar to Barack Obama's words. Here's what it goes.
Using Obama's talking points to make his sales pitch.
You are giving legal status to people who have broken the law.
They still have to qualify for it, meaning
passing a background check,
pass the background check,
paying a penalty,
pay a fine,
paying taxes.
Start paying taxes.
It won't be a quick process.
That is a long path.
But it will be a fair process.
But I do think it's fair.
Marco Rubio burned us once.
Jennifer, do you think this is going to make any impact whatsoever? And I do want to note as well that it seems as if a lot of the establishment inside the Beltway is now starting to get behind Marco Rubio.
I don't think it's really going to make that much difference. I think Donald Trump, frankly, has most of the voters who are animated by strong anti-immigration reform sentiment. Cruz probably has those as well. The problem for these guys is that there's the rest of the field. The reason Donald Trump has done so well early on is because we went from 17 candidates. There's still about 6 left. And as that number shrinks, Rubio has all of that to him. When eventually John Kasich leaves the race, when Jeb Bush leaves the race, most of those voters are going to go to him. And I think it's not going to work simply to repeat their old talking points. Right now, those guys, I think, have reached their ceiling in terms of support. Rubio is now making a pitch that sounds almost like a general election pitch, which is, I can bring people together. I have a positive message. I'm a conservative with ideas. And I frankly think that that's ultimately going to win the day for him, but we'll see.
So do you think that he is the likely second place finisher in South Carolina?
Yeah, I do think he's going to be a second place finisher. His trajectory has been very good. And remember, Nikki Haley, who's a very popular governor, endorsed him just a couple days ago. So I don't think the polling fully reflects that. I think when it does, he'll get another few points boost.
Got to go back and keep looking at that picture of Nikki Haley and Marco Rubio standing side by side. Looks like President, vice president? No, I don't want to go there just yet. Okay, that's another time. Pete, let's talk about Jeb Bush here. Word coming out today that there is low morale in his campaign. Some people are even saying that his big donors are not giving him any more money. He's even indicated maybe he should get out. Can we just go ahead and say it? If he doesn't finish big, and I mean big, third place, he's got to make a move here. It's time to go.
Yeah, I think you're right in what you said earlier. Second place and third place, silver and bronze, are really what matter tomorrow night in South Carolina. And Jeb Bush is going to have to face some tough decisions if he doesn't finish in third place at least. I think you're going to hear a lot more people on the, quote, establishment side saying, hey, it's time to get out, maybe even Kasich get out, so we can coalesce around Marco Rubio if we have any chance of stopping Donald Trump and Ted Cruz.
We are looking then at, let's face it, after South Carolina, if you as the strategist were to say, we need to get it right, Trump, Rubio, Cruz, everybody else go home, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, Nevada's the kind of place where Marco Rubio can do really well because of the demographics there. And it's to the point you've made, Jennifer has made here is, we got to get people out of this race and coalesce support if we have any chance of seeing someone like a Rubio or Bush or Kasich win the nomination.
10 seconds. Same question to you, Jennifer. You agree with that?
Yeah, I really do. I think at this point, the base on which Cruz is relying on, which is part of the evangelical movement, part of it going to Trump, and quote, very conservative voters, that's how they identify themselves in the polls, is just not enough votes. He has a math problem, and he is unwilling, and I think at this point it would be impossible for him to appeal towards a more sort of a centrist position within the Republican Party.
We'll have to call it ends there because we're all out of time. Jennifer Rubin, Pete Seat, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk soon. Don't forget, join us. Our South Carolina primary coverage begins 6:30 Saturday night right here on Newsmax.